Hey there, and welcome back to Batman Week here on the channel. So today I'm going to take a look at this book here. This is Batman 162, and DC Comics released this back in 1964. While Batman has recently been fighting King Kong along with the Justice League in recent miniseries, I think this issue is Batman as King Kong. So I think if you look at the cover here, we've got sort of the familiar image of this real sort of ape-like looking Batman on top of a building with planes firing at him in the sky while Robin here tries to protect him. So inside we start off with what sort of a prerequisite of the time of a nice splash page kind of introducing the story here. And the Silver Age saw a lot of sort of sci-fi stories with Batman turning into aliens or different kind of monsters, or like a genie or a mummy or different things like that. So I really feel like this sort of story idea was like, hey, what if Batman became, sort of like King Kong? So here we've got Batman kind of going down the street, real ape-like gorilla-looking body here for Batman, and we have Batwoman and Robin trying to come to his aid here. Oop. So the story starts off here with these criminals robbing a bank in Gotham, but they're just really like super strong brutes and they're tearing everything up. And again, this is a few years still before Blockbuster even, and we're looking at like decades before like Killer Croc or Bane, where villains where their just main gimmick is just sort of like raw brute strength. So again, still kind of a novelty back then. So then Batman and Robin show up to the scene, and Batman is noticing the sort of animalistic qualities of these guys, and the one wraps a light post around them, and they make their getaway. Now we cut to this sort of cave-like hideout for the villains, and so we see this criminal here, Eric Barrock, who has created this device that turns these animals into sort of human-like counterparts. So it sort of mutates them into like sort of a mostly human form, but they still seem to have these like characteristics of when they were in their animal forms. So then we have the animal criminals here robbing this sort of rich get-together, and we see the Jaguar guy runs fast, and there's like a bull guy that kind of crashes through the door as Batman and Robin respond to the alarm. Then we have the fight continuing out into the streets here, and Robin starts to use his cape like a matador. Special bonus for me is we get an appearance of the Whirly Bat here. Again, one of Batman's vehicles that is kind of silly. It's sort of like a one-seater helicopter sort of thing. I really like it. I wish, they would use it more. But I always like seeing the Whirly Bat in a comic. Then Batman is attacked by one of them on the Whirly Bat, and he has to ditch it. And when he tries to catch up, the animal criminal guy has fled, but Batman is able to follow his trail back to this sort of canyon-like hideout that the villains have. And again, it seems like anyone could just kind of stumble into this place. We have that a little later on in the story, too. But Batman tries to stop them, and so the villain turns the ray onto Batman, and we get this transformation sequence here where he turns into this very ape-like Batman creature. And then he sort of like starts wilding out like some of the other animal criminals we saw. But luckily, Batman wasn't able to contact Robin in time, but Robin hears the criminals talking over the radio in Batman's belt, and so then he's able to find him. Got this really nice panel here of Robin, too. Again, it's sort of like a typical sort of close-up, but nice, real kind of like hash lines kind of in the darkness around him there. Real, almost like Charles Burns looking sort of quality to that. And again, decades earlier. We've got Batman kind of going on a rampage in a neighborhood, and Robin and Batwoman show up as he kind of moves into the city here and is, starting to climb a building here. So I think I know where this is going. And then we've got full-on Batman on top of the building being shot at by pilots here. So yeah, you can't tell me they weren't thinking King Kong when they drew this. Batwoman then starts pleading with Batman to stop. She's able to kind of calm him down here, and they go grab some food from a truck to feed him that helps make him a little more docile. Batwoman then gets Batman to follow them as they get a report of some more animal criminals pulling a heist. And so these guys are apparently based on an alligator and a polar bear originally. Sure, let's go with that. Batman then jumps into the water after them and subdues them. Robin gets the idea to enlist Ace the Bat Hound in their cause, and so he sniffs the criminals they've caught, and he leads them back to the hideout where they turn, wild animals on Robin and Batwoman here. Batman shows up and is able to subdue the rhino and other animals here from attacking them. Robin and Batwoman start taking out the criminals. Batwoman uses a giant hairnet because, sexism, I guess. Then Robin turns the device back onto Batman, again, magically curing him now, turning him back to his human form, even though I think there's really a great explanation for why a device that turned animals into humans turned Batman into a creature, but, whatever. It was fun for the story, and of course we have to get him back to normal by the end of the issue. So, that's the Batman creature. Again, just sort of a fun Silver Age, real iffy science fiction story. But yeah, again, there was a long series of Batman and Robin turning into different things over the years, really sort of straying from the sort of crime noir roots of Batman. But, that's kind of what the book was for about 20 years or so. It was leaning a lot more into sort of sci-fi and fantasy and, superhero sort of stories and less about crime. And we didn't see too many of the Batman's classic rogues gallery during this time. So there was a lot of, variety with these stories. They kind of went real crazy with them for quite a while. And so, there's a lot of good stuff here, but I think a lot of hardcore Batman fans, especially back in the day, kind of turned on this for a long time, which is a shame because there are good stories in here to read. If you've read this, let me know, or if you have a favorite sort of Silver Age Batman transformation story, let me know in the comments below. And be sure to come back for Batman Week leading up to Batman Day this Saturday. And thanks for watching. If you'd like to follow me on social media, I'm on Twitter/X @Detective651, also on Instagram @Detective651. Be sure to check out my t-shirt store at tpublic.com/user/Detective651. I've got a lot of nerdy designs on there, and there's sales all the time, so check it out frequently.